Lindsay.
Hey, Jay.
What day is it?
Let me check. I don't have a calendar, but I think it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we're live.
Yeah.
It's prime time.
It's prime.
That photo's the best.
What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. What time is it? What time is it? Prime time. It's prime time. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guitar players around the world, and everyone else in the universe. It's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays we talk about guitars. We kind of get a little weird, a little geeky, but we try to have some fun. And tonight we got a lot of fun because National Accounts Manager Mr. Zach Arntz is with us. He looks like a CD librarian. Lindsay Love is with us, of course. Hey, Lindsay. And your
Hey.
Mr. J. Parkin.
Andy, that was wonderful. Andy, what's the guitar of the day?
This would be a GT811E.
GT811E.
Yeah.
How does it smell?
It smells really good.
Really? Does it smell better in the Northwoods?
No, it smells better when it's just like right out of the case from California.
Oh. So are you saying you miss us?
If I don't say that enough, please know that I do.
Okay. I'm glad. But welcome to Taylor Primetime. Tonight's show is the show. Oh man, we've been waiting for this one for a long time. Tonight's guest, it's a get to know Taylor session. Tonight's guest is National Accounts Manager Zach Arntz. Mr. Zach Arntz. Zach, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Oh man, this is exciting. I think here's the deal. We send out these emails, most of you get them, to remind you about primetime. And I have never seen so many forwards intercompany for this show. It was amazing. Like everyone was forwarding it. Mark forwarded it around to the marketing team. Everybody better watch this. I mean,
Yeah.
Dave Pelletier, I was just on a meeting with him. He said, I can't wait to watch Zach. This is going to be amazing.
Andy, are you plugged in, or are you just is that using the microphone on the guitar?
Just my
Sans pickup. Look at
Sans pickup.
Yeah.
Sans pickup.
Yep. It's how I get this awesome online tone, Zach.
It does sound good. I won't lie.
Someday there's going to be like a Waves plugin for it, and it'll be like $99 on sale. You'll be able to get it for $49, but right now it's all free, and I'm developing it every Tuesday.
Wait a second. It's Taylor Primetime episode 40. We've done 40 things. That's like 40 weeks. I don't even know how to do the math to figure out how we did this. But tonight, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this show. It's going to be extremely special. You will laugh. You might cry. We're going to talk about no-hitters and basketball. And we're also going to talk about guitar nerd stuff with Zach Arntz. It's exciting. But Zach, as you know, the show, here's how it works. We have some segments. We're going to walk through these segments at first. And then Andy plays a couple of songs. They're all real fun. Maybe you've seen the show before. It's wonderful.
First time caller, long time listener.
Really? Oh, watch the show. That's fantastic. Okay, so you get this. The first segment we have sometimes is called "Hug Your Haters." We didn't get any hate this week. We
Really?
didn't. No. Oddly enough, we did not get any hate. However, we did get some love. I'm not going to read the entire email because I think that would be. It was so special that we kind of want to hold it near and dear to our heart. But our good friend Howard Haynes, right? He goes by Tex. He often watches this show. Sometimes he can't catch it live because he's at choir practice at his church. But he received his Builder's Edition 816 CE that he had ordered. And it was a little bit of a surprise because he thought he wasn't going to get it until February 2022. Well, he was shocked when it showed up, and he sent us the most gracious email. It was super special. So, Andy,
cool.
Do you have a song for Tex?
Everybody needs a hug these days, maybe now and forever. Most hugs and kisses should be from a distance. Fist bump with social discretion. Hug your haters. Show the love. The return will come later. If you show some love, this is show number 40. We have made some friends here, like Tex. When this all is over, we will exhale and cheer. Thanks for watching. We got through a year.
I'm laughing at this comment. Ready? 40 pods on $40. Here's the thing, JD. It's only $30. We wish we had a $40 budget, but we don't. Anywho, that's fantastic. Thank you, Andy. That was great. And thank you, Tex. Your email was fantastic, and we appreciate it. We forwarded it around the company, and we really do appreciate your kind words sent through electronic mail. All right, guys, last week's trivia prize was a Taylor Sense smart battery box, and we're going to do it again. We have one more Taylor Sense to give it away, which means we have one trivia question. Questions doesn't make any sense. We have one trivia question. You got to wait until the end of the show. You know how trivia works. But if you're not familiar with Taylor Sense, hey Gabe, producer Gabe, will you roll the clip, please? Yes, Taylor Sense smart battery box. That's fantastic. During that, I pulled my ears out. It was awesome. So, forgive me for a second as I try and find myself. All right, here we go. You guys there? Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me. Andy, you're goofing with me right now. I can't. You did the thing that I do in the studio. Awesome. All right, we're here. I pulled my ears out. That was fantastic. All right. The next segment, Zach, there's a little segment we call What Are You Listening To? Gabe, roll the clip. Useless clips. Zach?
Yes.
Andy's going to play a song now. Check it out.
All right.
At the end of the day, what did you turn up and play? Was there a reveal? How did you feel? What's new? What's new? What are you listening to? What did you listen to?
What pedal was that? What was that phasey, zoomy pedal scenario you just had?
I tell you, man, that's the sound. That's going to be the sound of the next generation for sure.
I love that. I love your chord progression for the chorus. You changed it a little bit, and I appreciated it.
Thanks. I did that.
Yeah.
Zach, what are you listening to, man? You've got like a billion CDs behind you. What are those? Are CDs, right? What are those?
Yes, those are CDs.
Okay, so compact disc. What are you listening to this week?
That's a good question. Heim, the Women in Music Part 3.
Oh, I like Heim.
That's a great record. Let's see, The Jam, the album The Gift.
Yes,
It's a great record. And lots of stuff. I mean, there's lots of choices. Although Andy's song was very Pink Floyd-esque, right? Was that kind of the whole point? Shine on You Crazy Diamond a little bit? No? Andy's not talking.
Well, my version of that tune was, I think, influenced by what I listened to this weekend. I went on a little Radiohead binge on Sunday. It was raining up here in the Northwoods, and so it was a great day to play Radiohead. I listened to Amnesiac, In Rainbows, Kid A, and something else from that era. Jay, what else is in that era of like kind of with Kid A, Amnesiac, In Rainbows? Anyway, it was awesome.
Nice.
I felt like after I listened to In Rainbows, I remember we talked about this last week, and I told you I was going to go back and check it out. I just felt like when In Rainbows ended, I just felt like there was a big question mark in my face. Like the whole record sounded like a big question mark to me.
What do you mean a question mark?
That's how it made me feel. Like the whole record, I just was like, not in a bad way or a good way. I just was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're talking about or what's going on, but it was good. I mean, it opened up my mind a little bit. I mean, like some music you want, oh man, I'm so happy that I heard that song. Some music bums you out. Some music makes you want to practice. Some music makes you want to quit. This music just was like, wow.
House of Cards? That left you with a question mark?
I don't know, man. That's how I felt. That's what I'm going with it. That's my answer. I'm sticking with it.
Hey, you know what? What we should do is keep talking about we should talk about Radiohead every single week. Because what's going to happen? What's going to happen is my mom is going to hit me up like tomorrow and say, by the way, Zach, my mom watches this show every single week and she critiques it. It's fabulous. I love it. We love it.
Awesome.
She loves to hang out with us. But so she's going to listen to Radiohead this week and I'm going to get some heat. It's going to be awesome. So mom, listen to Radiohead. I'll choose the records in order and it'll be wonderful. Lindsay, what are you listening to?
Yeah, this week I've been showing my daughter, my 4, almost 5-year-old, Michael Jackson. We're just going through his catalog. She loves dancing to this song. So I was showing her Off the Wall, which he should have had more Grammy recognition for that. What a snub. Oh, that's Thriller, but yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's amazing. We're starting it Off the Wall, but
Great record.
Oh, isn't it great? It's the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
My oldest brother had a Michael Jackson phase when I was younger and I didn't really get it. And I think he bought all of his clothes at the Chess King. Remember that place?
Oh, Chess King.
Yeah. And we lived in Minnesota. We lived in Burnsville, Minnesota, which the Bosch headquarters are there. So that's where you go for like training for Midas and EV training and all that stuff. Anyway, to relate to the music instruments industry. But yeah, he's the one who actually got me into so follow Michael Jackson, right? Why not? That's incredible. The Dead Kennedys. And Black Sabbath, all in like a few years. It was fantastic. I got to give a shout out to my big brother. Anyway, this week, I wasn't listening to any of that. I was listening to, well, today, one of my favorite bands in the entire world. They are Taylor Players, a band called Quicksand out of New York, released a new single. Their new album is coming out, produced by Will Yip, who's also a big Taylor player, Taylor producer, so on and so forth. Quicksand I was listening today, and Lindsay, you ruined me. Judith, man, I can't stop listening to Judith.
It's a good record, good album.
It's so good. It's like on
who's also a Taylor player.
Who is also a Taylor player, and
yeah,
I mean it's anyway.
Yeah.
Music, Zach, you got a lot of music. So we're going to dive into this show. We're going to get to know Zach. And if any of you in the feed have met Zach before, maybe at a road show or at some sort of Taylor event, well, you're lucky because Zach is wonderful. We are really happy to have you on the show. So you know how the show goes, Zach. I ask a question right now. And that question is, Zach Arntz, National Accounts Manager, what in the heck do you do?
I manage national accounts east, so I have 2 accounts currently that I handle. Am I allowed to plug them? Is that a
absolutely plug them? Who do you accounts? He's talking about national guitar music accounts.
Yeah, so Sam Ash Music.
We
have 45 stores nationwide and online, and then American Musical Supply and Zounds out of Chicago, who you're very familiar with, Jay. So
I am. I also worked at the Sam Ash in Buffalo Grove, Illinois.
That's right. You worked for Sam Ash. You were an employee of Sam Ash.
I was an employee of Sam Ash, and I sold the heck out of Taylor guitars. Not at first, though. They've all heard this, everybody who watches this. But when the Taylor rep at the time came in, it changed my whole life.
Who was the Taylor rep at that time?
Man, you know what? I'll have to go through text messages with Kurt. It really bothered Kurt that I didn't know his name.
Still doesn't.
So Kurt spent like an entire Friday night trying to figure it out. Right? I'll go through and find it. And the last message I got from Kurt was, "Geez, finally I can sleep."
What year was this?
I want to say like 2007, 2006, 2007. He was shorter, maybe brown, blonde hair, kind of spiky. Not Osman. It wasn't Osman because I think he took over Sam Ash, right?
Was it Bernstein?
Andy, who was it?
Was it Bernstein? Bernstein?
Wasn't
Bernstein.
It
wasn't Jay, was it?
Jay, I don't think Jay wasn't spiky hair, dude. Jay was doing GC at the time.
Hold on.
He was doing both. He was doing both GC and Sam Ash.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Might have been Jay.
Yeah.
Brian Piccolo?
No. No, he didn't have Sam Ash.
Are you sure? Dave Baker?
No, Dave didn't have it. Dave was national count. Well, he was help me out, Andy. He was.
You can't see his face. It doesn't. Anyway, JR is texting me right now saying it was Dave, but I don't think it was Dave. Anyway,
no, Dave was national sales manager, wasn't he?
This has gone off the deep end.
I know it's not
too far.
Too far. The rabbit hole doesn't matter.
I know that Jay used to work with the Ash family. I'm not sure what year that was. So.
Broham.
All right, Jack. Before we get into some good storytelling here, I got a few questions for you. So Zach, you how long have you been at Taylor?
23 and a half years.
Well,
Wow.
23 and a half years. That's a heck of a long time. That's much longer than like 5 years. But let's just, so 23 and a half years. And all of a sudden in January 2021, you found out that Taylor, you're now an owner of Taylor Guitars. How did that make you feel?
Oh, I got teary-eyed. Like Aaron said, I was crying. It was unbelievable. You know?
Yeah, but that's pretty regular. You cry on the regular though, right?
Well, usually when I enter a Sam Ash Music, if they don't have their humidifier running, I'll get teary-eyed.
All right. That's good. Zach, so I got a few more questions and then we'll dive in a little bit more, get to know you. And I hope that Lindsay and Andy have some questions for you too, because this show is going to be so great. All right.
I'm sure Andy's got plenty of questions. And Lindsay too.
Zach, what's your favorite color?
Oh, I guess blue or red. Depends.
You're wearing blue. You're wearing a blue shirt with red glasses.
Well, and the glasses on the back side are blue, so they're both. So that speaks to my.
And you drive a blue car.
I do drive a blue car.
Okay.
But that's for sale, so that could end.
Oh man, you're selling it. Okay. What song do you wish you had written?
What song do I wish I had written?
Yeah, see? These questions are deep.
Wow.
If you could pick one, what do you wish?
Only one?
Yeah. Okay, 3.
Make it harder.
Handle with Care by the Traveling Wilburys.
Ooh.
What's the Simon & Garfunkel song? Patterns. And the Beatles, Taxman. How about that?
Ooh, good choices. All right. Zach is our resident audiophile. All right.
No, I'm an enthusiast. I'm not an audiophile.
Okay, whatever, Zach. You're the one who we all go to if we need stereo equipment. Like you could run a side gig. Your side hustle is consulting the entire company on how to make their sound system at home sound better.
It's like the Snack Shack, right?
Yeah.
Selling stereo gear. We should talk about that.
What record is the best to listen to on vinyl in your collection?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to steal this from Billy from Zounds, Billy Pre. Laughing Stock from the band Talk Talk. However, glad you asked. This record, Joni Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you put that on my Marantz quad and you run these Dyne Audio Special 40s and you close your eyes, she's right here in the room singing. It's haunting. It's not a religious experience. It may get there if I ever can afford the Bob Carver tube amp, but right now it's just a really amazing listening experience.
Mom, this is about to get nerdy. It's great.
It's super dirty.
All right. I got a couple more. All right. What is the best live show you've ever seen?
Oh, any show at the Hollywood Bowl. Has anyone been to the Hollywood Bowl?
I've been to the Hollywood Bowl. I've worked a show at the Hollywood Bowl with two bands, and I was also there after there were noise issues, so they couldn't play as loud as they used to play.
Whether you have front row seats or like me, you're in the cheap seats, the sound is superb at all areas of a very challenging canyon. And how did they do that? I mean, just unbelievable. Who did I see? I saw Morrissey there. It just sounded like a perfectly balanced CD. It was incredible. Although I saw Richard Thompson at the Belly Up. That sounded really good too. And at the Coach House. I mean, but yeah, the Hollywood Bowl, just in terms of acoustics, that just mind blowing. I'm sure there are better venues, but.
All right. If you were to play a live show with any band on stage with them, what instrument would it be and what band would it be?
You should have given me these questions beforehand. This is not fair.
No, it's all total fairness. I mean, it's live. I want to hear what you have to think, what you have to say.
I can only pick one. Huh?
It's his show. He can do whatever he wants. So just fuck it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take ownership for the first time. It's my show.
I guess I'd say drums with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Although Stan Lynch, I mean, what an amazing drummer, right? The idea that I could ever, I mean, his pacing, his timing, it's just so, I mean, listen to Stop Dragging My Heart Around by Stevie Nicks. And just, I mean, it's him. You could tell, like, his playing is so good. The other would be playing bass with the band 07, if I had that option. That would be, I think that'd be fun. I've been listening to some of their stuff lately, The Garden, some other cool stuff. Sia, she's got a great vocal range. So maybe that's a little esoteric.
Sia?
Yeah. No?
Let's talk about Sia real quick.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. She's like she's Lindsay. Sia, yes or no?
Oh yeah, she's crazy talented.
Absolutely. I mean, are you fans of 07 or not, or is it just?
I mean, yeah. Come on. So my mom is sitting here texting me. My mom's sitting here texting me and says, "You were at the Hollywood Bowl when you were a little boy." Mom, what show did I go to?
Memories. Here we go.
Anyway, okay, Zach.
All right.
You've had a. Thank you for that time. That was wonderful. Everybody got to know you just a little bit. All 109 people who are watching the show right now are having a good time. So, Zach, you've worked in a couple of industries. As we can see behind you, you are a big fan of music. I think you hit your calling. You're working in the music industry. You managed did you work at Tower Records or manage at Tower Records? What is the deal there? And tell us that story.
I worked at Tower Records. I ended up becoming a shift manager, but I wasn't a store manager. But I worked for Tower Records for about 9 years, from 87 to 96.
87. Wow.
Yeah. And I got to travel around the country opening new stores with Tower Records. In the 90s, as you know, the CD sales were incredible, right? If you've ever read the book, David Byrne's How Music Works, I think the high point was like 85 billion or something crazy. And a lot of bad decisions get made when that kind of money is being generated. But Tower Records was on a tear opening new stores. And so I got the fortunate opportunity to travel around the country opening new stores. It was great. But yeah, I worked at Tower Records. It was great. I miss it. You know, I miss that.
I think everybody has a Tower Records story. Andy, do you have a Tower Records story?
I missed the record store. I didn't have a Tower when I was growing up, Jay. There used to be a record store called Flipside right next to the Sam Ash that you worked at. And we used to go there at lunchtime. And we could buy concert tickets there and, and peruse. And I miss that. There's like the funkiness of a record store. Like they always smelled a certain way. And I was just thinking, like, when, so Zach was that dude, man. He was the guy behind the counter. He was that record store dude.
You have, at the time, you remember, there's no internet. So you had to listen to top 40. You had to listen to jazz. You had to learn how to find classical artists and music. You had to know when people came in to sing you songs, you had to be able to find the record. There was no, let me Google that with my smartphone. That didn't exist. You had to. And it was a great experience. That was a lot of fun.
Lindsay, do you have a record store or a Tower Records story?
Yeah, I went and bought, I spent my own money on my first CD. I want to say Tower Records in San Diego. I want to say it was near Sports Arena, right?
Right. Yeah.
When did it close? Do you remember that?
It was, I want to say 2000. I'm gonna guess 2003 or 4, but I'm probably wrong on that. We'd have to Google it with a smartphone.
I went there. I went there in 2000 or 1998. I want to say it was around then when Mace's album dropped. So Mace was on Bad Boy Records, and I was like, I had a huge crush on him too. I just love all Bad Boy, Big Papa, Notorious B.I.G., Puff Daddy, and he dropped his record, and I was like saved up my money and made my mom and dad take me to go buy his record, and it was at Tower. I want to say it was Tower Records because it was the one off of Sports Arena. But I was young. I was like 14 or something when then. So
when I started at Taylor, there was still Tower Records. Like there was an outlet store in Elkhorn Boulevard, ironically close to where I live now. So I would shop for cutouts and other stuff there. So even
that,
after
and
my career ended.
What was the big record store in Horton Plaza? It was.
Wasn't Virgin, was it?
No,
or Sam Goody's or Warehouse, or
I think it was Sam Goody's. Yes,
Goody's.
I remember just thumbing through. Some of the best times were just doing that, going to a record store. And
here's the thing: like Tower was open 9 till midnight every day. That includes Thanksgiving and Christmas. Didn't matter. And so I remember one New Year's Day I was working, and everyone had been partying the night before. I was the only one at the store. Like I'm at the front register. It's this massive store. There's nobody else there at 9 in the morning, but until midnight every night. And so what's that Hemingway poem, right? Clean, well-lit place. Like you need a place to go. Like maybe it's Thanksgiving. You don't want to see your relatives and you want to go somewhere. You can go to Tower. They'll be open. I miss that. I miss hanging out in record stores and being turned on to new music, whether it was Off the Record or Blue Meanie or any handful of stores in Orange County, Los Angeles, San Diego. I mean, just, having an employee turn you on to some good music. Yeah, I miss that.
Yeah, totally. I think I had a record. Well, first of all, my mom this just in. We went to see Henry Winkler reading a story. Don't know which one. No music though. So
Henry Winkler.
Yeah, the Fonz. And
Fonz.
And so I'm thinking to myself, like,
wow,
Mom, did I go to sleep? My mom and dad took me to see the Beach Boys and Kenny G. Just saying, how amazing is that show? But the Fonz, we went to the Hollywood Bowl to listen to the Fonz, and what did he do? Hey, it's so good. Mike Venezia. Anyway,
amazing.
So, wow. I had a local record store in Fenton, Michigan, where I went to high school, the back half of my high school career, if you will. And it was called Vic's Jukebox. And Vic's Jukebox was like this old, house that had duplex down, kind of turned the bottom floor into a record store. And my mom never, ever had an issue with me going to Vic's. And I worked at a family glass company and I made money. And every single Friday, whenever it was payday, I would take the money. And the very first thing I would do is go buy music with it. And I would buy a lot of music with it.
What was the first record you ever bought, Jay, at a record store?
The first record I ever bought with my own money was, the first tape I ever bought, cassette tape, was Van Halen 1984.
Okay.
Nice. And so that was the cause of my tears, visible tears, on the day that we did a show, the day that Eddie Van Halen died. So it was like, that was the memory. But I mean, it's tactile. It's something you can do. I mean, we have a big record collection here. And so, man, music. I think
Kiss Alive, Zach, my first purchase.
Kiss Alive. Wow. Yeah. Awesome.
From JCPenney.
JCPenney sold records?
JCPenney had records, man. So did Sears. All those department stores they had a record.
Sears.
Buy guitars too from
Kmart had records. Yeah. And I finally met Tiffany at the NAMM show with Billy Gill. And when I was at Record City here in San Diego, they had a used copy of Tiffany's first record, and that still had the Kmart sticker on it. I'm like, oh yeah, buying this. And if we ever get back to Anaheim, I'm bringing it with me and having her sign that record. That'd be awesome. Lindsay, what about you? What was the first record you purchased, or cassette, CD, whatever?
Yeah, well, the first CD I purchased was Mace, but but I bought the first tape I went and bought was, oh man, that was New Kids on the Block. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Why?
Why? New Kids on the Block. Yes.
NKOTB. Was it Step by Step?
You know it. It's like, yeah.
Baby. So good. Gonna get to you.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Good.
They play that on the Groove on Sirius XM, man. Those are some good jams.
That was the jam between them and New Edition. You know, New Edition was a little bit before them, but yeah, those guys.
Man. All right, Zach. Music retail. We went from music retail to music instruments retail. When did you get started working in guitar stores?
That's a good question. 93, I started working music instrument retail, small music store in Laguna Niguel. That's no longer there, called Shade Tree String Instruments. And I was working at Tower Records same time when I started there, because I was only working 1 day a week when I first started. Kind of like Monty, I always overlapped jobs. So I worked Wendy's and 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven and Tower Records and Shade Tree. And then eventually Shade Tree and Taylor Guitars. Like in the beginning, I was still commuting back and forth from Orange County when I started at Taylor, because needed to make some more money. So yeah, 93, it was 92, 93.
All right. So I have a situation.
Yeah.
If Zach, last week's guest was Mike Venezia. All right.
Yeah.
If Mike Venezia were to send you a text message right now and it said NKOTB, so New Kids on the Block's drummer was Craig Yemick, how would you say this in a Mike Venezia voice?
Do it.
No.
You don't have an impersonation of Mike Venezia? You know? All right, we'll get to impersonations later.
Think about it.
But okay, so Craig Yemick, what's his title?
National Accounts Manager.
Wait, that's you.
Well, we have 3 of those. Oh no, Jay's great. Jay's like, wait, he works in the body department. Yeah, we have more than one person that works in we have multiple people in these jobs. We have more than one DSM. We have more than one international. Yeah, okay.
I'm just kidding. So he's your counterpart, but he works on the GC account, right? On the Guitar
Right.
Center.
Yeah, works in Guitar Center. Yeah.
So apparently, Lindsay, you just fanned out slightly when I said that. You went.
Did he really?
I didn't know that.
Really?
I don't know. He's telling me
Is
right
that
now.
fact?
I didn't know that.
Is this true, Mike?
I'm emailing Craig right after the show.
I think we need to verify this. This is
Yeah.
if that's the case, we need
We'll have him on the show.
New Kid
And
on the Block drummer on the show.
Yeah,
He's
and
not Yemick anymore, by the way.
No.
No. Okay. So Zach, wonderful. When did you start working at Taylor?
1997.
1997. And what was your first job at Taylor Guitars?
This is a good story. I applied for customer service, and at that time, during the interview, they said, we've got this guy who works in repair, and he's a problem. He's a problem to me, and he'll be a problem to you. He's a problem to everyone he comes in contact with. Can you handle that? And I said, yeah, I can handle that, but I have a question for you. Have you isolated the problem? And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, is the problem his job? Is it his workspace? Or is the problem really him? Like, have you isolated the problem, and do you have a solution for that problem? And a week later, they called me at the job I was working at, and they said, okay, the job we're offering you is changing. It's now customer service and repair. You've got to do both because someone has left the repair department, and it was that person. And I've never met him to this day. It's kind of crazy. But so when I started, I was working customer service, but I was also doing repairs. So I would be taking phone calls. I had the phone in my head while I was pounding frets in a guitar and stuff, doing repairs that if Rob McGargle would hear, he would say that I was not qualified to do. And yeah, maybe he was right. But
So in Rob's voice, how would he say that to you, Zach?
Yeah, in Rob's
you can't think of it that way. You can't think of it that way. What did I tell you not to do? That's what he would say to me. You know, we were doing a restring clinic, and I'm like, "Hey, Rob, I'm gonna take this pickguard off." He's like, and he's working on something. He looks up, he goes, "Don't do it." He keeps going. I said, "Yeah, but it's peeling up. I can take it off." He looks up again. He says, "Don't do it." And it goes back, you know. So of course I rip it off, you know, and I take some wood up with it. And he comes over and says, "What did I tell you not to do?" I'm like, "Yeah, but there's just a little piece of wood here." He's like, "Yeah, and who's going to fix that piece of wood?" "Well, hopefully you will." He's like, "Yeah, that's why I said don't do it." Anyway, we had great times. He is so talented. I mean, I know we talk a lot of trash at the office and stuff, but the whole repair department, Lindsay, you know, you work with these people. They're just very, very talented. But yeah, I was working in repair and doing customer service calls. It was just me and Terry Myers. Terry Myers hired me. So
Terry Myers has been on the show. Rob McGarville's been on the show.
Awesome. Okay.
We should have Rob back on the show and
should.
at the same time. It would be amazing. Okay. So you eventually took over the customer service department. Am I right?
I was the only person in customer service for a whole year. So I know. Shudder to think, right? No, I took all calls incoming, right? And I also checked in all the guitars, and I called everybody when the guitars were done for a whole year. And I broke overtime records. It was crazy. Before I finally got help, when they let Glenn, who was working repair, he spent half his day helping me out before Mike Tobin came on. But yeah, I was the only person in customer service for a year. It was crazy. I mean, the idea of that now, like, yeah.
How many calls do you think you took in that year?
Thousands. I mean, it's you can't even count, you know. It's like asking the repair department at Griffin String Instruments, how many guitars do you fix a year? Like, oh, we don't even count. You can't count. It's way too many. So go ahead.
So what are some of the best calls? Do you remember? Do you have any that stick
out? Tell us some good customer service calls.
Good customer service calls.
You know, this is prime time, so you can't, you know. I mean, there's lots of great tower record stories, but they're not appropriate for prime time. You know, there were some funny calls. One message I got, just you come in Monday morning, there'll be voicemails waiting for you. And just one voicemail, no name, phone number, just says, "Your guitars are way overpriced. Way, way overpriced. Goodbye." I hangs up. I'm like, okay. This is where I need like JR and Tobin and Glenn and everybody. I mean, there were some problem customers. When I started at Taylor, this was my naive thinking. I thought, well, what could go wrong with a guitar, right? It's just a guitar. That was really my mindset. And 10 years of customer service later, you know, a lot can go wrong, you know, or people are picky about their action and stuff. But if you think about it, kind of Taylor created that player, right? The low action, no buzzing conundrum. You know, we spoiled the customer by making these guitars that play so easy, you know, with super low action, but play like electric guitars essentially. Some funny customer service stories. JR will tell you that when I manage customer service, that I would go above and beyond. I do things that, you know, like at 4:29, we close at 4:30. Someone would come in with a guitar and I try to fix it right on the spot. And JR would be like yelling at me, like, "Why are you doing? Tell them we're closed." I'm like, "Yeah, but I could fix it. I could pull the pickguard off. I could set it on fire, you know." And Rob will bail me out or not. I should have gotten a copy of my 20-year party from Sarah. I could have gotten more stories and stuff. But yeah, one time I set a pickguard on fire at Taylor. Because yeah, I know.
How? Okay, you can't stop there. Why and how?
Okay, so there was a girl who worked in our shipping receiving department. Back at the time, there was like 2 people. And Rob worked on her guitar. And she got back and showed me. I said, "Oh, check it out. Rob fixed my guitar." I said, "Oh, okay." And the pickguard was curling around the edges. And so I called Rob. I said, "Hey, did you work on, you know, such a guitar?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Why didn't you replace the pickguard?" He said, Rob's like, "Because it's fine. And don't you dare change that pickguard. Do not touch it." I'm like, all right, I won't. I hung up. I'm like, I'm totally replacing this pickguard right here. And because I had previously ripped like the finish off the top of a guitar, like pulling a pickguard off because I didn't do it right, and got yelled. Tim Larank just cursed me out of the repair department one time for doing that. And so I thought, well, I don't want to rip this finish off because then Rob's definitely gonna have to bail me out. So I'm gonna get this thing so hot that it'll come off the top, right? Well, what's the pickguard made out of, right? It's nitrocellulose plastic, like a guitar pick. And what happens when you let those on fire, right? They go up in smoke, right? So I'm heating this thing up, and all of a sudden, just catches fire. I got like a miniature barbecue right on the top of this guitar. Like I got it off. I did damage to the guitar, replaced the pickguard. Everything was good. I don't think I even told Rob. I don't want Rob finding out. He'd come down and beat me up.
Well, now he knows.
He knows. He knows from the 20-year party or whatever. But yeah,
that's incredible. Okay, so when did you move over to the sales team?
So sales came later. It was 2007. 10 years. Kurt came by my office in customer service at the Andy, you were there. It's 1700 building down the street where we had the digi wall and the stage and all that stuff. And Kurt asked me if I would consider going into sales. And
what did you say? Well, obviously you said yes, but how did this interaction go?
Well, I said this is prime time, so no, he thought it would be a good transition. I talked with him and Bob, and they thought my retail experience plus customer service experience would be a good fit, and that I'd be a good fit in sales. And, shout out to my friend Pat DeBurrow in New Hampshire. When I was talking with him about it, he said, customer service, that's got a shelf life for you. You can't do it forever. It's just too stressful, because you have to remember at the time, if a store couldn't help someone or customer service member couldn't help them, then they got to me. Like that, I was the guy who got all the letters to Bob. I was the guy to resolve all the big problems, and so, yeah, that had a shelf life. I had to move on, but yeah, Kurt asked me to come to sales, and I said, yeah. I said, sure, definitely.
I think one of the things that Zach handled really well, and there was nobody else who had done it before him, was to lead the whole humidity charge issue and messaging at the time, because there was a period of time when Bob was fed up with people saying your guitars crack, right? And there was a letter that was written that was signed by Chris Martin and by Henry Juskowitz and all the leaders of the guitar industry calling for standardization of humidity. But Zach was the guy on the phone answering those people who were saying your guitars crack. So he's like my introduction to what a humidity policeman is.
Well, it's funny you say that. One of my first business trips with Diane, like in Pittsburgh, I went to a dealer, and I told that dealer, like, you're on the humidity offending list. And of course, this dealer I'm good friends with to this day, he was like looking at Diane and pointing like, who is this guy? Like, can I just strangle him by his pretentious scarf? I mean, it's all 60 degrees here, It's like, but yeah, that was the big thing. Promote humidity. I mean, there was a time when they wouldn't take guitars back. Terry would say no and not give anyone a refund. And my favorite, okay, here's a good customer service. I thought I was being punked. I thought it was a prank. I got a call from this dealer in Palm Springs at the time, and the guitar was cracked. And his line to me about humidity, he said, do you have any idea how many pools there are in Palm Springs? And I'm like, I thought, okay, who is this? This is someone in the industry who knows me, who's getting my goat. And I said, if you put a pool or a hot tub inside your store, then the conversation's over. But the humidity is too dry. He was pre-drying out the guitars for the environment. It was a disaster. And to Andy's point, the sales team wasn't as engaged on humidity at the time as we were. Because when I took over the Mid-Atlantic, I terminated a couple dealers, and one kept coming back, and I'm like, I'm not going to hire you on as a dealer because you dry out guitars. Like, I already know what your damage is. So anyway, yeah, a lot of arguments about humidity. We had a humidity chamber where we put all the guitars in the cases, and yeah, that was humidity. I mean, When I worked at a retail store, I didn't know anything about humidity. I had no clue, What about showering with guitars?
Good idea, bad idea.
Bad idea. Bad idea. Don't do that. Unless it's a rain song or a graphite guitar, go for it,
Okay. Bad idea to shower with.
Yeah, or if it's the last shower ever, then it's okay.
The last shower.
So you've been working in sales for a while.
14 years. Yeah, or 13 years.
14 years. And in this time, I believe, is when we started doing road shows and Find Your Fit events.
Good.
Is that true?
No, that's true. I didn't want to skip over when we did restring clinics, because that was a big thing in 2004, 2005. We would go out and do restring clinics, and the one highlight trip was with Doyle Dykes and Diane and Rick and Pat DeBurrow and Jamie White, and we did 2,500 miles on the East Coast doing I think 7 or 8 restrings. So you bring your guitar in for a restring, and it was more than a restring. We do neck resets, fret levels, nuts, saddles, and of course ES systems, electronics replacements and stuff. And then Doyle Dykes would perform later. So it's this huge event. We did that, and that was really special. We made a lot of people happy. That's what I miss about customer service, is taking care of customers and making them feel special. We had one guy, he sent his guitar to us for an ES repair, and UPS damaged it on the way to us. And I called him and told him that, and he got upset, and he said, I'm going to take UPS to court, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, you're probably not going to get anywhere. Let's fix it. And he finally didn't win with UPS. And so we fixed the guitar and we sent it back to him. And of course, the electronics still didn't work when it got back to him. And this has been like a year with him without the guitar. And he called me, it just lit me up, right? And I said, well, where do you live? He told me. I said, all right, good news. We're going to be there. We're doing a restring clinic there in that area. Bring your guitar and we'll fix it on the spot. We'll have electronics with us the whole bit. He's like, well, I don't want to wait in line, blah, blah, blah. I said, just you come up, you cut the line, just walk to the front, tell me your name. I know exactly who you are. And we had this great rapport. And he ended up buying me crimpets, those tasty cakes, and windshield wipers for the rental car, because I was complaining about that, like they were worn out, And he asked me, he goes, well, where's the crack in the guitar? I said, man, wouldn't it be better just to die not knowing? Because it was a real figured maple back guitar. And he says, I know where the crack is. It's right here. And I said, no, it's not it. He goes, oh, you got to show me. I said, no, I'm not going to show you. He's like, come on. I said, all right, I'll show you, but you can't get mad. He's like, I promise. I said, all right. So I did. He's like, wow, that's incredible. It's like, I told you, it was really subtle. But those trips, that was a super big highlight. I realize we don't do those anymore. And I fully agree why we don't. But at the time, it really came in handy because we did have some challenges with electronics and some other things with the guitars, and we made a lot of people really happy. So. But back to your question, road shows and yeah.
Well, no, I'm glad you brought that up because getting out and we've been locked up, right? We've been government grounded, so to speak.
Yeah.
We've been at home. We're dealing with a pandemic. We can't go and have this face-to-face interaction, which we enjoy. In fact, Zach, a couple of things I want to talk about are your Find Your Fit. When I've seen you real time do a Find Your Fit, and it changed my whole opinion on instruments in general. So kudos on that. You're really good at it. But I believe I may have this fact right, that you hold the record for guitar sales at a road show. Is this true?
No, I don't think so. Andy can chime in. Because think about like Tobias at the Tivoli with Mike Osmond. I think those with Bob Taylor. I think he had some pretty record breaking. I had lots of 20, 21 guitar sales or road shows or Find Your Fit events. And then I think the Buffalo Brothers was a 28 guitar day. So there's lots of high numbers. I don't think I hold the record.
His batting average is very, very high. I would say
if you've got
Hall of Fame, he's definitely
if you've got Venezia on speed dial,
he's number one.
If you've got Venezia on speed dial, he could give you all the answers to the questions we have here.
Depends on the era, but if we go back like with 3-4 years ago, I think you're definitely the king of the roadshow sales at that time.
And is he on your Mount Rushmore? guitar salesman.
Well, now I know that I need a Mount
Of course.
Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely he would be.
Okay, so he's on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Okay.
The person I have it right here. It says Zach is being modest.
Yes.
He holds the records for guitars sold at a roadshow.
Really? Is that true?
I would agree. I would think so too. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Zach wears the crown.
I have
Jay,
the tiara.
you know why, Jay? I'd just like to give some props to Zach because he has so much experience in so many different facets, and his retail from record. He loves music. He can talk about records. He can talk about bands. His years in customer service, and starting a guitar repair at 4:30. Well, he does that now at 9:30 p.m. when he goes to dealer stores. Same thing. He still does. He's the only guy that we have on our staff that can go do a full presentation, a Find Your Fit or a roadshow, and also reset somebody's guitar neck the same day. Like he does all that. He has got it all going on. When I first met Zach, he probably doesn't remember it. There was an artist named Robin Ragland who came to a NAMM show with me, and Borbonis brought you over, and Robin was from St. Louis. She needed a new saddle for her guitar. I think we were using those Tusk saddles at the time. And you're like, sure. Yeah. How many do you need? You got to have the arms to do Zach. I don't have enough camera here, but
got the floating hands.
And so he came back with 5 saddles for her. And he goes, do you want me to put them in individual wrap, or is it okay to put them in one package? And this is like, he had never met her. He had never met me. I was just a dealer. And that was my first impression of Zach. Took care of it. No questions asked. Did it.
Yeah, had Bob Bronis. Bob. And it's Bob.
Here we go. Impressions. It's going to start in just a second. Hey, Zach.
No, to that point, the customer service side, like, Monty Montefusco came to Taylor because of the example we set in customer service, mainly Mike Tobin, and how we really went above and beyond to take care of our customers and stuff. So that's important to know. We acquired a lot of talent by doing that. Yeah. And look, one of my favorite Nashville shows, right? Corey Sheehan came up to me and says, hey, Tim's not here. Can you help a girl with artist relation? She needs help with her guitar. And she comes over, she's like, yeah, I'm having problems with my Taylor. I said, okay, let's talk. And she said, it's just buzzing. It's not working for me. And I said, well, let me watch you play. And she's got this great, like, Rory Block finger style technique, really aggressive. And I'm watching her. I said, okay, well, you've got the wrong guitar, like the wrong tool for the job. Like, let me show you. I said, you play mahogany guitar? She says, well, I like mahogany, but it's too boxy. I like a little sparkle. I said, okay, hold on. I got it. It's like the guys on City Slickers, right? The ice cream to match the dinner, right? So I come over with a K26C. I said, all right, here we go. Grand Symphony, Koa, right? It's got the mid-range with a little sparkle, and it's got the ability to handle the drive, because you're just overdriving the guitar because you're a pro. And I handle the guitar, she starts playing. She goes, oh, this is it. I said, right? Right? Like, you just know what guitar goes with each, and I really enjoy that. And there's in the sales process, I call it spark, right? And you know this. Someone finds their dream guitar and they light up, right? It's their dream guitar, and price is not really relevant to that. It's a magical thing when you find that right guitar. So years of experience in doing Find Your Fits and working with dealers and customers and working with the right dealers, you just pick that up. When someone falls in love with a guitar.
That is true. I would
go on a tangent, sorry. But thank you for the kind words, Andy. I look up to Andy. Like, every presentation we do, every sales meeting, Andy gets done with his presentation. I'm like, there he goes, just mic drop, marketing content, recording, artists, merchandising, just everything. And Andy can fix guitars too. Andy's songwriter, player. I mean, we got to jam together too. When was it, Andy? Was it 2019 at Christmas at Rob's house?
Oh yeah.
That was a blast. That was fun.
All right, back to it real quick. I got one more really major question for you. and then maybe we'll take some questions from the feed, because this has been great, Zach. You're amazing. We also need to hear some impersonations. I'm just gonna keep throwing it out there, man. You gotta have anyway. Okay, so this is a heavy question.
Okay. All right.
True or false?
True or false?
Was your greatest accomplishment at Taylor Guitars hiring J.R. Robinson?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Greatest accomplishment. Oh, yeah.
Accomplishment.
True.
Okay.
JR has tons of great customer service stories, and my favorite JR stories, I'm not gonna be able to tell it very well, but he talks about a guy who called in on the phone and said, you know what? When I take my guitar and I hold it above my head and I play it, it makes this really weird noise. When I hold it above my head and play it, it makes a noise. And JR's like, you do that often?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have J.R. Robinson on here.
Yeah, he can tell it much better.
We're going to have J.R. Robinson, one of our district sales managers, on here next month. It's going to be fantastic. Zach, you're so great, man. You've seen Taylor grow. You've been here for, 23 and a half years. I like the fact that you threw in that half, right?
What does that say about me?
It's very, very important. You work with, some of our largest dealers, right? And it's not easy. It's not easy working with it with Sam Ash, who's got, what do you say, 43 stores?
45 stores.
45 stores across the United States. Working with Zounds. Love the dudes from Zounds. Still, maybe you can answer a question. Why are there 2 Z's?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll get to that next time. Working with American Musical Supply. These are big dealers, and you do a fantastic job doing it. And I think every single one of us looks up to you. You're so knowledgeable, and we appreciate you being on the show for sure.
Okay. So on that note, this is great. I was doing a road show, right? And the person at the store introduced me, right? They said, and we've got Zach Arntz from Taylor Guitars, and he knows everything. And so we like to play Stump the Zach, and you can ask him anything. It's going to be, it's just incredible. Like this huge intro, right? And so then I take the stage with the product specialist and say, hey, thanks so much. It's really kind. Any questions before we get started? Someone asked me a question. And the first thing I said, I don't know. I have to find out. so much for the intro, Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, right?
That's so good. All right. So we're going to dive into some Q&A from the feed, Zach.
Right.
We
Q&A
take
from the feed.
We take some questions. Man, you've been great. It's so good. It shows Taylor. Zach is one of those people. If you say Taylor Guitars, you say Zach Arntz. In my opinion, for my 5 years, you've been, gracious with your time, allowing me to just come in your office and ask you questions about pro audio or
home audio, stereo gear,
or Collings guitars. You know the answers to everything, which is great. It's for real, it's fantastic. So we have a couple of questions in the feed. Gabe, I'd love it if you would throw some questions up on the screen for us. I saw a couple of good ones. One especially from Mr. PT. What's his name? Paul Tobias. Here, I'll throw this one up, Gabe, and then you could take the next one. Zach, where do you shop for your shirts?
I have to think of the line from the movie The Breakfast Club, right? Where Judd Nelson, does Barry Manilow know you raid his wardrobe?
You don't have an answer. Where do you get your shirts, Zach?
Actually, I acquired this shirt from a Robert Graham store in Chicago, not far from Paul Tobias's place. I think it was Aurora. There's an outlet mall there, so I took Rich there. We went to the outlet store there. And it was good to
shopping with another sales manager.
Yeah, it We couldn't find parking. Like we were driving around the parking lot. It was just so crowded. I said, forget it. Let's just go back to Iowa. It's fine. Let's go back to Des Moines. And we finally found a spot and we got in there. So yeah, did some shopping there. So where do you get your shirts? Love it.
All right. Gabe, you got any questions? Ooh, what is your dream audio setup? That's a fantastic question, Hunter.
It's who was I talking to recently about like Bob Carver. He only does tube amps now. I really like his stuff. And I was reading an interview with Mark Stutman of Folkways Guitars in Canada. And if you've ever met Mark, he's awesome. He's super knowledgeable at Gibson and Martin and vintage guitars. And he talks about going down to stereo stores and listening to $40,000 speakers on like Dire Straits albums, Brothers in Arms. And when I worked at Tower, we worked with Genesis Audio, and we would listen to speakers that cost $25,000 a pair and stuff. It was just, a good question to that, or a good, I don't know what the word is. How are your ears, right? I was talking with Billy from Zounds, like, how are your ears? If your ears are gone, then it's not really going to matter. But I haven't gotten into the tube world yet. I guess that'd be the next level. But I like going on YouTube and watching like some of these dream setups in Las Vegas with Macintosh and Krell and acoustic research and all these super, super high-end systems where like all this minutia and detail comes down to it. So that's a difficult. I mean, I think if Billy Gill were here, he'd say the journey is the destination for Zach. It's all about buying, swapping gears and like different stuff. And also here's the other weird part, Andy, maybe you would relate to this. There's like a sonic memory footprint. Like the first time you heard real hi-fi, maybe it wasn't the most expensive piece of hi-fi, but it reminds you of a certain time frame. When I first heard, Women, Children First of Van Halen on this Pioneer receiver, that's the footprint that I equate to this amazing magical sound through like Roger SoundLab speakers or whatever. And maybe it's not the most expensive gear, but you let your ears be the judge. That's another thing. When I shop for speakers, price is not always indicative of a better speaker. So, I mean, I've got speakers from Boston Acoustics, Dyne Audio, Roger Sound Labs, et cetera, going Corey Witt, Zarntz. They all have their own character and personality. Polk Audio, there's the quest for the perfect sound. It's fun. Anyway, that probably didn't answer the question. Sorry. That wasn't
good enough. Keep going.
Keep going. Rabbit hole.
How many receivers do you own?
When you make an Excel spreadsheet of all the gear you have, and there's even notes in the spreadsheet, like sold to Andy, sold to, then maybe you have a problem. Or someone told me one time, maybe I was at Stereo Unlimited in San Diego here, or maybe Classic Audio, Fred and Jordan, give those guys a shout out. If you have a stereo in the bathroom, maybe it's time to take a break. To answer the question though, how many receivers do I have? If you include integrated amps, I think it's like 17 or something. It's a problem. You'll open like Rob, my wife will like try to put something away and she'll open a cupboard door like, well, what's this? Like, oh, that's a receiver. Well, what's it doing here? Well,
that's where we keep our bread, Zach. Why is there a receiver in the kitchen?
Yeah, I have a lot. There's a lot of So if you need something, please let me know. Start up the Stereo Snack Shack or the Snack Shack again. So.
He tried to sell me some Klipsch speakers this morning. He sent me a picture of some Klipsch speakers he just picked up.
I bought these speakers. They're too big. They're just too big. Look at the specifications. They're 40 inches high, 20 deep, 12 inches wide. They weigh 70 pounds a piece. I mean, they nearly crushed my mother-in-law's Honda getting them out of Escondido. And they're just too big. Go ahead.
You think my wife would be bummed if I like swapped them out for our side tables?
No. I showed them my wife. I said, hey, can I put these in the living room? She's like, no. Are you kidding? Are you out of your mind?
That's great. Gabe, we got any more questions? Zach, what's your favorite guitar shape? It has to be acoustic.
Oh, it has to be an acoustic. Favorite shape, like what? Grand Concert, Triple O, like what?
Yeah, what's your favorite shape? Probably Taylor shape.
Yeah, I mean the Taylor Grand Auditorium. I have that's probably the favorite. But I like the O and double O shapes. I like the small body guitars. I mean, I'm 6'3", but still like, Andy, those couch guitars, they're huggers. You can play them for. I'm borrowing Aaron's his Collings. He's his O right now. It's such a sweet guitar.
Mm.
So small body guitars. I started on a Dreadnought, and while they sound great, and I still have a Dreadnought, I like the smaller body guitars. So Grand Auditorium or like Triple O or Double O or even Single O. Parlor's too small for me.
Okay. Gabe. Yes, Zach, how do you organize your
Question.
CD?
They are organized alphabetically the way they were at Tower Records. So, it's funny. When I was selling CD organizers on eBay a long time ago, and someone asked, "Hey, what are you using to replace it? This is not going to affect me buying your product, but what are you buying?" So it was like this quest, like, these are all IKEA shelves. But yeah, they're all alphabetical. But then there's more on the other shelves. And so and there's some in the car. But if I don't alphabetize them and organize them, then how are you going to find the one you want out of over 2,000? You're going to be like, I just get mad. I act like a little child, pouting. And then I'll buy it again. I don't even know I have it, but yeah, alphabetically.
Alphabetically by genre or just alphabetically?
Just alphabetically, mix of genres. I mean, I'm a power pop junkie. I like a lot. This is like the rock section behind me. There's some jazz and some blues in there. But my wife's section has more classical. And she's turned me on to a lot of great stuff too. So I got to give her props.
Lindsay, you notice how he said some jazz?
Mm-hmm.
Just some.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
some jazz is okay.
How do you organize your receivers, Zach?
They're all over the place, apparently.
We put shelving in the room. My dad helped me put shelving up here, and now there's components going. Like I showed Gabe and Jay the shot earlier, where it's just this wall of components.
Do
those shelves
smell like rich mahogany?
The IKEA stuff is particle board, right? So it doesn't really smell great. The stuff, my shelving is plywood with solid trim. I think it's birch. It came from Austin Hardware in Santa Ana. Lindsay's cracking up.
Do you have many leather-bound books?
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Okay, Gabe, any more questions?
Yeah, enough of the question. It's getting silly now.
Oh.
Does he have equal or larger vinyl collection? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Do you? How's your vinyl collection?
The vinyl collection. Okay, so this is going to sound strange. It's going to sound totally counterproductive, or counterintuitive, whatever. At the time I left Tower, I was trading in a lot of vinyl for CDs, and that would seem like a huge mistake. And it's the same thing like restoring vintage guitars. Like, oh, don't refinish it or change the nut or do anything that's going to kill the value. Well, back in the 90s or 80s, like these were all utilitarian working guitars. No one was thinking that the vintage market was just going to go into orbit and all this stuff was going to be priced in unobtainium amounts. But so the vinyl, there's been a resurgence. So I don't have as much vinyl as CDs, but I think like in terms of media, right? Cassettes, probably about 1,000, and then records, maybe 400 to 500. Not as many as CDs. I know. There's records at my office, right? There's plenty there. It's fun, right? I'm not a fan of like the.
All right, Zach, please give the same answer as Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
Just some records. Not as many as CDs, but Kentucky Blue. I don't. That's funny.
All right, we have a couple more questions, and then we have a little bit of feed rescue we're gonna do real quick, okay? But this is gonna go to a humidity question in a debate that is happening in the feed right now. I want to take care of.
Okay,
Gabe, do we have 2 more questions? Question: when are you coming to work with us? And my wife Tiffany says, "Hi, Zach."
Ah, 7C. What a great shop. I was so happy when they opened a shop in St. Petersburg because finally there was a place to send people who needed good repairs. And people will drive hours. And I knew what happened. They're a destination, and I'm really happy for them and their success, as well as their new location. I can't wait to come out and visit. So, and when am I going to work for you? Well, I guess when I retire in Florida, right? Could be sooner than later. Who knows? After this prime time.
I saw like a question in the feed.
Bob won't fire you.
No.
Okay.
Maybe Jay though. Your job was on the line like every week for a while.
You might get fired.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know which one.
I think Timothy Sue. Yeah, let me see. He asked it. He said, "What has changed? You've been here for 23.5 years, and what has changed? And what has stayed the same at Taylor since you started working?"
What has changed and what has stayed the same? Well, a lot has changed, and Andy, we've talked about this. In order to build your career at Taylor, one of the fundamentals is embracing change. It's not going to stay the same, right? Things are always changing. What remains the same? Well, the people. Like I had a certain opinion of Taylor guitars before I came there, and when I got there, I realized, wow, it's quality guitars, but it's quality people, and those people make the quality guitars, and that has something that it has changed and stayed the same, right? We've just added more quality people, and there's technology, right? More CNC machines, but there's been more handwork, and every time you add a machine, you have to add more people. And it goes garbage in, garbage out. It requires a lot of skill. And, one of my favorite experiences, it didn't happen till later, was onboarding there, where, I've done repairs and I've done a little bit of building. I did binding one time, but it gave me such a great appreciation for all the things that happened in the factory, and all the jobs in the factory that I thought I'd be good at, I was horrible at. And the stuff I thought I would be horrible at was actually not bad, but like putting kerfing in with the glue, I just made a hot mess of it. And I remember the guy production, he takes things, he says, "Just leave it here. I'll fix it later." Oh. I'm like, "I'm sorry. There's like glue all over my shirt. It's just a total mess." Like, but it looks so easy with the wheel. Like, it's not. It's so skilled. These guys and girls who work in production, I have a whole new level of respect for what they do. It was incredible. So. Yeah, if it was easy, someone else would be doing it. Yeah, as Terry Myers and David Judd and other people will joke, they said to me early on, they said, "Your destiny is the phone." After watching me fix guitars, like, your destiny is the phone, man. You're not long for the repair department. Sorry, we love you, but let's get you where you need to be selling. So. There have been lots of changes, but good changes. The company's gotten better, or making better guitars. I mean, Andy's amazing. There's been lots of improvements, and from being more efficient and caring about each other, being safe. It's just a great company. We got a great culture, really great team. It's the people. So
that's great. Thank you.
It's a really good question and not a great answer. I feel like Kevin Smith, right, during his interviews, right? Like, it's a brilliant question, not very good answer.
Well, I have one last question, and then we're going to rescue the feed just a little bit. Okay. One last question I have is, would you rather work in a pinball arcade or at a record shop?
Wow, that's deep. I would say I'd rather work in a record shop. However, if I could work in a pinball shop and learn how to restore pinball machines, that would be something to add. Because, I mean, imagine like the dream store, like Toys in the Attic, right? Have pinball, vinyl, right? Just music gear, be a Taylor dealer, sell high-end guitars and stuff, fun stuff.
Stereo
equipment. What, Andy?
And stereo equipment.
And stereo equipment, sure. I was researching online classes for electronics repair, just toying around with the idea of, recapping a Marantz receiver or something. That stuff fascinates me. I watched Fred over Classic Audio make jumper cables and like soldering strands of wire the thickness of your hair. Like just that kind of talent, Who set the pinball machine on fire?
Don't set the pinball machine on fire.
I don't know who did set the pinball machine on fire.
All right. Now we're gonna do a little feed rescue real quick, okay?
All right.
I need Lindsay. She's spent years in the repair department. Zach, you did some repair. You did some customer service stuff. We got a fella in the feed. His name's Robbie. I believe he has a 314 CE, right? If I'm correct, Robbie. Got a 314 CE. This is one of the comments that I've seen. Don't get me wrong. I love my Taylor. It's my favorite guitar, but it sounds great. I didn't neglect it, but it's cracked. I believe he lives in Arizona. Why might it be cracked? And what can he do to rectify the situation?
Lindsay, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I saw some of his comments, and I think Robbie chimed in, but I think he said it's cracked by the volume knobs, and he's sure it's not humidity. I mean, if your humidity is right and you're keeping it in the case, and your hygrometer is in the room or in the case, and you're actually, so you've done all the right things. I mean, sure, there could be other reasons why it cracked, but it can be fixed. There could be a compression crack. There could be different reasons why it cracked. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it, so it might not be a humidity thing. It could be a compression crack, and those things can be fixed and rectified. You just gotta. We would be so glad to take care of that for you. You can call customer service, send it in, and we can and do it there, or we can point you to your local guitar tech that's that we've certified and get you taken care of. But yeah, it's not a lot of times. I'd say majority of the times it's humidity, but there are other reasons why you'll find a crack in a guitar. So I don't know if what his particular case is.
Yeah, you have to see the guitar too. You know, like on the phone.
Yeah.
I always, Lindsay, you know this. Someone would say something like about their guitar, and in my mind, I'd be like, "Nah, that's not that. They can't."
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, "Wait, hold on, just suspend judgment until it comes here." And then I get the guitar, I go, "Holy smokes, guy's right. It was, it was this. We did do that. Okay, we need to fix that." So yeah, never. If it's by where did he say the crack was? By the knobs?
I think he said it's by the volume knobs, which was like,
that's not necessarily a humidity prone area. No,
that's why if it is by, and he could chime in. He did just chime in and say that the room is around 40. That's pretty low. That's on the lower side, so it could be humidity. But if it's by the knobs, that's not a normal place for humidity.
Yeah, cracks in the knobs, I wouldn't jump to humidity right away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think that he has other guitars that he doesn't have this problem with. So again, it's a concern. I know, Andy, you speak about this letter that everybody signed. Every single guitar manufacturer talks about humidity. We might be talking about it more. And now we found out it might be Zach's fault.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it so much. But really, Robbie, if you have, you can hit up our service department and we can help you get that thing taken care of. We understand it's a big investment. Anything that you save your money for is a big investment. And when you want it to be in the best working order that you possibly can. Ooh,
yeah.
Sambo. Robbie, Taylor customer service is truly the best in the business. They will totally take care of you.
That is a fact.
So there you go. Promise.
Promise. Zach won't light it on fire.
There we go. Zach won't light it on fire. All right.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
Well, no, I remember we had a customer sent his guitar in, and I had paid a tech in the field to fix some cracks on it, not knowing that the guitar was actually dried out. And then even worse, the tech in the field glued the neck on the guitar with super glue. And this is a bolt-on neck. And so I called the customer. I said, "Hey, your neck is glued on. It won't come off." And he says, "Well, I own the building that this certain store rents from. I'm going to sue them, or whatever." And I said, no, it gets better. I think I paid him to do it. And he was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, like, this was a guy we no longer work with, and we didn't vet him properly. And I said, I think I paid him to glue that neck on your guitar. So I owe you a new guitar. He goes, what are you going to do with mine, with the glued neck? I'm like, I don't know. Figure out a way to get the neck. I don't know. But yeah, like I have to get you a new guitar now. What amazed me in customer service we were across the street, like before 1980, 2000, it was just 1940 when I started there, and John Towers across the street. There was a handful of guitars that were there that had been repaired, like say Bridger glue, $80 charge. And when we moved to the building, no one picked them up. Like we just kept moving them from building to building. No one ever claimed them. These are guitars that cost thousands of dollars. And it's like,
yep.
Even the store I worked at, Shade Tree, when they moved, I think I put like 15 or 20 guitars on eBay that had been left behind. And they say like 90 days, but we're talking like 5, 10, 15 years. Like this is not like, hey, you just broke the record 90 days. No, it was like, anyway. So
yeah,
good times. There's too much. We need to have other people on the show to get some other stories.
So
here's an interesting thing too about being on the show or being at the Taylor 23 years or whatever. To everyone at the company, you're just 20. That's it. No one ever says 27, 26. Yeah, Chris Carter, it's 20. Yeah, it's 20. Like I warned you, like once you cross the 20 mark, there's no 23 and a half and 24 or 20. It's just 20.
Well, no, that's untrue, Zach. You've worked at Taylor Guitars for 23.5
5 years, 23.5.
And you have 23.5 receivers. And you set 23.5 pickguards on fire.
Pickguards on fire. That's right.
Look, I've seen Zach come in, like when I was working in repair, Zach still to this day will come in and do a neck reset. Like I think on like a local Sam Ash guitar, I think you had picked that. You did one. You came in recently and did one while I was there. So that must have been like last year. But
a customer came in the visitor center one time and it needed repair. It was pretty simple. And I called repair and they said, we're too busy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, can I come up there and do it myself? And they're like, sure. And I got there was a line out the door. I felt really bad. Like they really were busy. And it was just that same mentality. Like this guy was from wherever, some out of state. He's got a gig tonight. His tuners are broken. Like we have to fix it, and make him happy and get a story out of it, And the other side, real quick, the other side of customer service, being the only customer service guy, I would get the calls would come in, right? And one time I got a call, it's like, hey, Zach, yeah, there's this guy on the phone. He says he's Chris Martin. I said, yeah, like the Chris Martin, like just I don't know who that is. Like, okay, like the Chris Martin, not like Chris Martin from Coldplay, right? Like Chris Martin. She's like, I don't know who Coldplay is. Like, clearly, all right, send the call over, please. And then another time I got a call. Hey, this guy won't get off the phone. He says he's James Taylor. I said, the James Taylor? Well, I don't know who that is. Yeah, clearly. Transfer the call, please. And he was super cool. I mean, working in customer service and repair, that was fun to talk to artists like Carly Simon, Lisa Loeb, Peter Buck of REM, their management team. Like everyone was super cool. It was fun to work and repair and talk to them. Lisa's super, super nice. So that was funny. Some highlights. I talked to James Taylor. He wanted to buy a baby Taylor for a relative. It was funny.
Wow. Okay, Zach. We got to have Zach back on the show. We got to figure out a Zach segment for the show because it's so good. Zach, you're so great, man. It's been, man, Robbie, we got you. Of course, we take it seriously.
Yeah, we do take it seriously. Customer service. I joke at Taylor. I say, look, I don't take myself very seriously, but I do take my job very seriously. And yeah, these are major investments. These are expensive guitars, and we want to take care of people. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. That's kind of the mantra. So yeah.
Look at Zach just dropping bombs over here.
Look at that, man. Just quoting lines from all of my self-help books that I've read. That's something. Okay, that's something that Taylor has done or changed. Investing in the people, Vistage training, sales training, customer service, like the amount of training that Taylor invests. And Monty will tell you, I was one of the guys who was the victim, right, complaining about. But Joanne and our HR department, stellar job at investing in making us get better. Because what I deal with other companies, I find out that they don't do that. They don't invest in their people. They don't do trainings. and that helps us get better. And Andy, you think about it, like having Keith Brawley here and the sales leadership team, and we've all raised our game and gotten so much better, and because they've invested in us, and that's something I certainly don't take for granted.
True.
I think if I were to say one word about the Taylor team as a whole, I would say care.
Yeah.
Care. We care about the quality of the instruments that we make. We care about the people who are making and building the instruments. We care about where the wood comes from and who is being taken care of when we procure that wood. We care about people who are playing our instruments, be it an artist or a person, you know, like Robbie saved money to buy an expensive instrument. We care about the people in the feed every single Tuesday who spend time with us. We care about each other. We care about it so much. So I would say care. Zach, we care about you, and it shows that you care about this company, and it's wonderful. So much that we didn't get all of the impressions out of you. We will one day. We'll get more stories. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But we need to close up the show. We have 3 more segments. We have some trivia at the end. We're giving away a Taylor Sense battery box. The next part of the show has been fastly becoming my favorite part of the show. The next segment is called Lindsay's Question. Andy, do you have music?
Maybe you know, maybe you won't. You might need to think. Some people don't. Your heart may race. What will she say? Either way, don't take it personally.
That was different.
What? That was different.
I appreciate it. That was different. So it's just a random question. How I can hone it in if it's too big, but let's see. If you were to pick a theme song for your life this far, what would it be? Or maybe if you want to hone it in, you're walking into a sales meeting, you're ready to like lock in a dealer with a big number. What song is playing if we could hear it? Following you around into the meeting room.
What's your walk-up song?
What's your walk-up song? Yes.
Wow, that's a tough question. I mean, if I walk into a sales meeting, I'm usually too nervous. I'm not even thinking about, music or a song or something. I'm trying to be more like Andy,
Oh, sorry. Did I do that? Sorry.
Cubs up 3-2. What is it? Wow.
Sorry. Keep going.
I don't know.
You don't
want to know what love is. There you go. There you go. Taylor Love. That's a good song.
There it is. That's the song that if we could hear a song playing with that would reflect your attitude going into a sales meeting.
Song going to a sales meeting or a dealer.
No, Eye of the Tiger.
7 Nation Army. Nice. That's a good jam. Cashmere. No, I don't know.
That's what I want to hear.
What is it?
I don't know. That's a great question. It's a great question. Not a good answer. Sorry. Want to be starting something by Michael Jackson? I don't know.
Ooh.
I love that.
Silly. Probably some Guided by Voices song. Skills Like This or Bulldog Skin. I don't know. Just something kind of just rocking, kind of raw. I don't know.
Totally, man. Totally. I was thinking Bee Gees.
Alive.
I was going Bee Gees the whole time in my head.
Interesting.
We're on the same exact wavelength.
All right, but hold on. Help me out here. The band, The Killers, that song, The Man, is that not kind of a rip on Staying Alive? They got that cool guitar thing going? No? It's kind of the same groove. Staying Alive.
I'm too sad.
Yeah, there you go. What's funny that when that movie was out in the theater, I couldn't go see it. Do you remember that, Andy? When Saturday Night Fever was in the movie theater, it was R-rated and the kids couldn't go. So like they came out with a PG version, you know. Anyway.
I love all these suggestions.
Yeah, the suggestions are better than my answer. Absolutely.
All right,
Money, Big Floyd.
All right, fine.
That's a great question, though.
It was a great question. You had a difficult time answering it. Maybe just move into the next segment, which is my favorite segment of the show. Lindsay's is becoming my favorite segment of the show
because I keep stumping guests.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right. Ready? It's 2 minutes of sports. Gabe, roll the clip. Andy, do you have any music?
It's 2 minutes of sports. Sunday was Masters Day. Augusta was ready, azaleas in bloom. Matsuyama was steady, he left a little room. Xander made it interesting until he tripled 16. Salatoris first round, quite the force. Showing respect, showed about to the course. On 2 minutes of sports.
That was fantastic. How about that, Masters? Oh my goodness. Wait.
Awesome.
Do you watch golf, Zach?
No.
Oh.
Well, when I'm trying to fall asleep on the road, if I'm traveling, I'll watch golf.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a sports person, Zach, at all?
I think I used to be more of a sports person. Maybe not as much anymore.
Okay. So this week was a really big deal in San Diego sports. This is why I'm wearing this hat.
Huge deal.
All right.
Huge deal. And of course, my wife had to put on, I don't know, Facebook or whatever, the Doc Ellis no, right? The no-hitter. In celebration of that. Their Padres' first no-hitter. That's crazy.
The Padres' first no-hitter by El Cajon, California's own Joe Musgrove. How
huge.
Cool is that? That's
super cool.
Also, he is a huge reggae fan. In fact, his walk-up music is a reggae song. And he has a tattoo on his hand of a Pepper logo. So Pepper, a bunch of Taylor players, right? From San Diego area. Anyway, Joe Musgrove, congratulations on getting the first no-hitter in Padres history. But because your favorite color is blue, Zach, I'm going to put on a blue hat for Lindsay here because we do have to clap, another golf clap for my boy Stephen Curry, Taylor player Stephen Curry, who became the all-time points leader for the Golden State Warriors, beating Wilt Chamberlain with 17,783 points. All right, we're done with 2 minutes of sports. Trivia it is. We got one question for you tonight. One question for trivia. All right. Zach looks like, wow.
Froth kind of guy?
Froth kind of guy?
What is that? Someone explain that to me.
Is it a Fraggle Rock thing from last week?
Froth.
Golf?
Stylish is like a shirt thing, maybe. I don't know.
Froth is a game traditionally played on college campuses and relieves stress.
Frisbee golf.
Is it frisbee golf? I like Google.
We just got stumped.
Yeah,
we got stumped on sports. We don't even
frisbee golf. There we go.
All right, cool. We got it. Wow. All right. So let's wrap this thing up with some trivia. You know the rules here. The rules are Gabriel and Paul Tobias cannot answer the question, right? If you win, you are the number one or the first in the feed to answer the question correctly. Email us at primetime@taylorguitars.com with all your info, and we'll get you a prize. All right. So, Gabriel, what is this week's question? What is the nut width on a GT? Ooh, we're going to get down to the, who's going to answer this? What is the nut width?
Torrefaction and CNC machines. Chicken bean burritos were once answers to our trivia. Put your knowledge on the line. Trivia. Taylor Sense on the primetime trivia.
Gabe, did we get a winner?
We did. I think it's
There you go.
All right.
actually. I think.
Wait.
I think JD Stan got it first.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at the feed, yeah.
Oh, there's 3, and you just gave away 3 winners. So you know what?
JD Stan was the first one.
JD Stan, you're gonna win the Taylor Sense, but the other 2 that got the right answer, throw it up. I think it was Eric and Zach.
Yeah, Zach was second. Eric was third.
Send us a email and we'll hook you up with a little bit of a prize. We appreciate everybody for watching the show with us this week. Next week, we're diving into the milling department. We might even actually dive into wood procurement in our first episode of the Taylor Factory tour, which is going to be great. So we're going to dive into that next week. It's going to be super fun. Zach, you're awesome, man. Thank you for joining the show. This has been one of our longest because of the stories that you have to tell. You knew it was going to be there, but we love you. We love you so much. Thanks everybody in the feed for joining us Tuesday in and Tuesday out. Mom, my mom wanted me to tell you that the Tigers are up 7-1, and it's been fantastic. We will see you next week. Andy, take it away.
What was it? What was it? It was prime time. It was prime time. What the heck was it? Well, that was prime time. Zach is a real storyteller, a total humidity cop. He manages customer service. He was the dude at the record shop. He loves to play him some pinball, watching digit counters fall. Always carries a humidity gauge, even to the hotel stalls. Things you learn on prime time on Tuesdays. Thank you very much, Zach.
Thank you.
Good week. We'll see you next Tuesday.